Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the like, smash up the like, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not joined already on YouTube, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. Okay, fam, we going in. The death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells continues to raise national questions as the state's autopsy has been completed but remains unreleased, fueling debate over transparency, accountability, and what investigators may still be trying to determine. And joining us right now to break it all down is trial attorney Jack Palmeri. Welcome back, Jack.
Willie, thank you
Willie,
as
thank you
always.
as always.
Pleasure to be here. Good morning to your audience.
Absolutely, man. Let's get right into it, man. The state's autopsy is complete. Legally, why would they still not be releasing that information to let us see? But more importantly, give the family the information that they're seeking.
Because
It is still an open investigation. Are they really investigating?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry? Are they really investigating? Typically, and this is what I just want to say this right there, and you can pick up on it. It's typically when, there's an investigation of this magnitude, a case of this magnitude, something going on this long. Inquiring minds want to know. Usually, the law enforcement would give us some type of updates. The prosecutors say we're working on. Give us something to give us some encouragement that you guys are not back there cooking the books.
They said it's ongoing. What do you want?
They said ongoing. That's the magic word. They got ongoing, as in we are looking at we got certain suspects, so we are making progress. Ongoing, just ongoing. Are you making any progress though? That's what we want to know. Yeah. They're being very tight-lipped. I think now we understand the excuse they could make for it, which is they're getting a lot of scrutiny, a lot of heat, a lot of people are expecting and wanting answers, and they don't have answers yet. If they could close the investigation right now and leave it undetermined, cold case, and just say, look, there's nothing more we can do. A lot of people will be unhappy with that, will be unsatisfied, will feel that you haven't done enough, do more. Reopen the investigation. Right? We've seen that happen before. You've seen 20-year-old cold cases get reopened because there's DNA. Now there's a new witness on the body is found. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. To close it will be called later reopen. And to leave it open says that we're not done and we can't tell you anything. But they won't be able to close it and then reopen it just because people want it unless something new happens. And quite frankly, discussed, nothing's going to be enough. They don't have enough to close it. As far as we know. As far as we know, they got a plethora of evidence. They got a plethora of leads. Okay, look, man, you ain't got to even go to school to understand what's going on here. When you see all of these inconsistencies in these stories, you see these people playing with phones, playing with these people keys. Then you see. Let's go back to the top where you see where we hear the sheriff, John Ledbetter, say immediately within the first hour of the body being found, we don't suspect any foul play. He didn't examine the body. He hadn't examined any official documents in regards to the body's condition. He just said, we don't suspect foul play. See, the way I see it, if Sheriff
John Ledbetter would have led better, you wouldn't have all these questions out here like this. You wouldn't have people doing all this speculation. Man, give us something. Tell us what's going on with the case, and we don't have to do all this speculation. And they're sitting back on their hands. I know the way law enforcement works, believe it or not. I've been around law enforcement for a long time, really close to the cases, right? When they have something, they are quick to try to put the public at ease. It's like when there's a serial killer or something. They immediately say, without having any real evidence, they'll say, we believe this to be an isolated case. Why? Because they want to restore public confidence in law enforcement. So what's up with this case? Why are they so mute?
Because
Part of the issue now is
what it's going
what
to
it's going to give
most of the
public,
public
the public that's very
interested
interested on this cases,
they
they want to see an arrest.
They want to
They want to see a suspect named. They want
validation,
validation, confirmation
that
that something unnatural that wasn't no one's fault happened to no one.
and they don't
And they don't have it to give to.
and
That's why they are treading very lightly. Because anything short of that,
there's going
to be an uproar.
We have a lot
We have a lot of people involved. We have a lot of justification.
They've got
They've got nowhere to go with this case.
And
Give,
from my
from my interpretation, my impression of what they have, they haven't connected enough dots
to even
name a suspect.
Again, you give me a
suspect.
What's
What's the motive for the suspect?
Everyone
Everyone claims to be a friend of Nolan. It's not like he was a stranger. It's not like he was there and he was uninvited. No, I was thinking
about
about this case in relation to Carmelo Anthony.
And that was
very different.
Carmelo
was the defendant.
Race was at play
in that case.
And
that one of the issues that was from one school, the victim was from another school. They were different tents, and Carmelo had approached the other tent.
That's not
this.
Well,
For all we know, for what that's seen, Nolan was welcomed at this event. So we have not heard of anyone that had a beef with him for the island that like
someone that
tried out for his spot on the team, like the same girl he liked, on a test, anything. I heard a reason why anyone would want to murder Nolan.
Well, there was some word on the street is that the boys were trying to shake Nolan that day. They didn't really want him. A couple of the boys didn't want him on that trip that day. That I don't know if you've heard that, but that story is out there that a couple of those boys did not even want him on the boat on that boat that day. They didn't want him on the trip. So they was trying to shake him all that morning, and Nolan ends up on the boat anyway. So you mentioned that there was no motive, right? Well, there doesn't always have to be a motive in order to bring charges, right?
Nope.
But again, this goes back to the circumstances, potential case. We don't have someone at the scene with the body, with the weapon in the hand. We don't have that smoking gun photograph. We're trying to piece it together. Because you're right. We don't need a motive. When you have a suspect, you don't need the motive because you don't need a reason to kill someone to be guilty of killing someone. Right? Motive is not required. But when we're trying to piece together who, then it helps to have a why. Well, who should we look to? If these people on the boat, these kids, who want him on the boat, would that be enough to compel someone to kill him? Maybe. And up until this case, we've questioned openly and honestly and fairly the friendship, the level of friendship between Nolan and these other boys. Everyone there on the boat, off the boat. I've not heard anything that really prior to this event that people question that these other boys, regardless of their skin color, weren't friends of Nolan. We've seen the photographs together. They played sports together. No one's come out and knocked Nolan's character or integrity, which is good. I wouldn't want to see that. But no one's come out and say, Nolan was never really a good guy to begin with. No one said that. Everyone's really kept the spirit of Nolan's character, the integrity in place. So despite what everyone felt, suspects or rookies have felt, no one has put it back on Nolan. No one said, you know what, you don't know Nolan the way I did.
Well, well, they did. They try to do it in a sneaky way, though. They try to call him a drunk. They try to say he was high. So they did kind of like inadvertently, they're kind of using passive aggressive language here in their response to Nolan's disappearance and subsequent death. Right? Let's say that let's say the state's autopsy comes back and it differs from the independent autopsy. What happens next?
It depends on how. If it comes back inconsistent where it gives us a cause of death. Okay. The next question, is the cause of death accidental or self-inflicted in some way? Meaning like he went and swam and the current took him, or he died by outside force, trauma, pushing into the water, whether they're drowning, they pass before going into the water. That's going to be important. If it comes back, that's really the only way it can come back inconsistent. If it comes and says we don't know either, it doesn't help, and it's substantiated by the independent medical exam. It's really matter what result comes back. That will give you determination how significant it is. And to different people.
Is there any legal reason why parts of an autopsy would be remain confidential while other parts of it is released?
So I don't know if too much has been confidential. I know the independent medical report did say it was consistent with protocol for the state autopsy, for the state coroner to hold back certain organs. I don't know that IME, independent medical examiner, made subsequent efforts, or if it was offered after the report was done. That could be. It wasn't available at the time of the independent medical exam. So they've said themselves, we find that unusual. It could be because of this additional analysis. It could be because of the preservation of evidence, chain of custody. It could be. I don't know where Nolan's body was examined independently. That doctor may have gone to the state facility. The body may not have been transferred. The organs may not have been in the building at that time. I'm guessing. I'm trying to make sense of what we don't know. But if the IME said, look, that's not unusual, I would like to have had it, I'm not in a position to further question it because the source is not questioning.
Okay, so I'm sure you've heard the response from Mississippians and other people on the ground in Mississippi and even the people who support Nolan's friends, right? They're talking about how people shouldn't be jumping to conclusions and saying this or that about the friends. But here's the deal. People are only commenting based on the information that has been released. The first part of the information that was released was by the parents when they said, hey, we had to go and retrieve this phone. We had to go retrieve these keys. And then comes the CETO phone call. With that CETO phone call, are you still not convinced that there's something there after listening to that phone call? Or do you think that phone call is authentic?
So I think what we're talking about is the new
the new
the new
version
version
of
of
the
the
call
call
has
has
come
come
out
out.
and
It's
analyzed
analyzed
and
and
scrubbed.
scrubbed.
There
There
was
was
an
an
independent
independent
woman.
woman.
So
So
we'll get that in a
we'll get that
moment.
in a
Well, it's
But
not.
moment.
It's
As far
really
as
well. It's.
it's
I wouldn't.
it's not
I wouldn't.
fair.
I wouldn't categorize it as a new version. I would categorize it as an enhanced version.
okay.
Okay,
Sure, the
sure.
enhanced
The
version.
enhanced
That's
version.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm
I'm
still not
still not
sold on the
sold on the
enhanced
enhanced
version.
version.
I can give you a
I can give
lot
you a
of
lot of
technical legal
technical
reasons
legal
for
reasons
that. It's
for
not that
that.
I
It's
don't
not
think
that
it
I don't
could
think
be
it could be
plausible.
plausible.
I've heard a
I've heard a
lot of
lot of
damning
damning
audio and
audio
video
and
in my
video in
day.
my
So
day.
I'm
So
not going to
I'm not
say
going to
that
say that
conversation
conversation
isn't
isn't
theoretically
theoretically
possible to have
possible to have
happened.
happened.
I've heard
I've
those
heard
same kind
those
of
same kind of
confessions
confessions
inadvertent.
inadvertent. So,
But in
but
this
in this
case, I'm
case,
not
I'm not
satisfied
satisfied
with how we
with how we
got
got
the enhancement.
enhancement.
Um,
Um,
so
so
going back a
going
moment
back a
as to
moment
the
as to the
kids
kid,
not thinking it's unfair, um, that's a part of being in the public eye. So whether it's fair or not, um, it's a matter of people have a right to draw an opinion.
They're saying that the sound is horrible. The sound is horrible. Um,
Is there an echo?
yeah, I think it's choppy. It's choppy, and it's not on my end because I'm, I could see what's happening right in front of me right here. So it's not on my end. It's something's going on your end, but they're saying that the sound is horrible. How does it sound? How does it sound right now, family? Let's see. Let me check the chat right quick. It's fixed now. Okay, it's fixed. Here we go.
It's fixed.
Yeah.
It's fixed. It is fixed. I hear nothing.
Okay.
You're a master at this.
Okay.
So
It's on you.
okay. So one, as to the kids feeling it's not fair, it doesn't matter if they think it's fair or not. This is the reality of things. Everyone has a right to draw an opinion, draw a conclusion. It doesn't really matter what any of us think anyway. They should remember that. So that they think it's not fair. But the reality is, your friend or would-be friend, someone you know, died, and you're very close to that. And a lot of people are concerned about it for a lot of different reasons. So you think it's not fair? Welcome to the 21st century. We're all part of public scrutiny. The best thing you can do if you don't like it is don't submit yourself any more than you already have. But that's just the nature of news. No one likes being involved in this. As to the enhanced video, so here's the legally, the enhancement that we're aware of doesn't come in. It will never come in because she's not taking it from an original sample of the original source. So I just took a moment about chain of custody. Okay, in order to do an admissible enhancement, she would have to have a certified copy of that audio from law enforcement. And then that authenticated original would then have to be analyzed in a way that, presumably can be duplicated, or at least you show us the process. I'm not saying that she did this in this scenario, but I can give you a hypothetical of how that enhancement could come up through non-authentic means. You take a sample where the edit audio is already embedded, right? You take a non-authentic copy, right? You alter that copy to embed another layer. Then you take that copy and scrub away the noise to find the layer that was added in. Okay? As a defense attorney, that's what I'd be looking for. Is that what copy did she get? I want to see the quality and the authenticity of the copy she scrubbed before she scrubbed it. I want to reverse engineer it to see where that video was, but it never comes in. It's got to be from a copy that the original is authenticated. She doesn't have that. She doesn't have access to that. And again, I go back to the most learned person in this case on behalf of Nolan is Ben Crumb, right? He is at the foremost. He is the one pulling in the best resources available, right? The best minds available. The fact that he has not come out publicly and brought this woman on his team or acknowledged her publicly, said, "You did a great job, thank you, you've helped us crack this case." Again, he's not ruled it out, he's smarter than that. But if he doesn't authenticate it, and that is something that a lot of people are hanging on, That gives me pause. That gives me serious pause because he would want to be able to come out and say, guess what I found on the audio? He'd be the first one. He's not done that. And if he's not doing it, I'm not going to be the first one to do it. This woman, it's very problematic to me how this woman came about. And no one else has been able to reproduce it. I've heard no one else say "Me Too." I found a copy, and I was able to find this.
Somebody else did. Somebody else did reproduce it. Somebody from Nancy Grace's producer reproduced it, and he got the same results. So, black woman, the black woman.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear Ben Crump come out and give it.
They wouldn't believe it. They didn't want to believe it because I do believe they didn't want to believe it because the black woman did it. And now that the white woman has done it, more people are starting to receive it and say, okay, well, Nancy Grace says it's true, so maybe there's some credence to that,
Unless they use the same possibly altered copy to begin with, right?
What I think they use is the same, is that they use, according to them, they use the original copy. Well, I won't say original copy, but the copy that was released to the public. Everybody got the same copy. Everybody got the same copy that was released to the public. So they enhanced the same copy that she enhanced, that Janetta Brantley enhanced.
Yeah.
Nancy Grace's producers enhanced the same copy and came up with the exact same results.
Yeah, Nancy Grace is a trip. They're going to do this a long time. She's no fool. Again, until I hear Ben Crump come out and give it weight, or I hear the state attorney come out and give it weight, those are the two people I need to hear from. Everyone else can do it, that's fine. I'll take either side. I'll take anyone in the know, in a place to have the certified original. If it comes out that way, so be it.
Okay, so in your mind, let's say you're the prosecutor. You're the prosecutor on this case. Let's say the case make it to trial. You're the prosecutor. So you're trying to tell me that you're not going to look at all of this plethora, this treasure trove of evidence and piece that together to try to get yourself a conviction?
Absolutely. But I also need to make sure that my doppelganger, so I'm the prosecutor right now. I've done that. That's fine. I got to make sure that Evil Jack, who's the defense attorney, doesn't have something to jam me on. It's not just enough to say, this audio, we hear boys in the back. I got to show why 12 strangers who may be cryptics like me should believe it, right? Because this is the process, because it's the original we got from the database, right? Then we had this expert come in and we did this process, and we independently, we didn't rely on outside sources, don't work for the state. We independently came to the same conclusion, and you don't have to, you need to accept that the audio is not here to lie to us. I've said this to you many times, right? The audio does not care. If that's on the audio, then that will be on the audio. The audio has no vested interest in any of us. And you have to show why a cynic like me is wrong. Well, it could have been done, but it wasn't done in this case. This is authentic. This is the real McCoy. And you need to listen to it very carefully. And then this dragnet becomes a lot smaller, and your suspects become much more tangible. And then motive, like you said, becomes irrelevant, right? So that's what you need. You need to make sure you establish it's the real deal, and that can be done.
Okay,
That's what I would do.
Okay, so let's say this case makes it to the grand jury, right? It makes it to the grand jury. So knowing what you know about the evidence that is out there, what is the most important piece of evidence that you believe that the grand jury would consider to bring forth an indictment?
if we accept the audio, the enhanced audio, that is the most important part, because that ties. What if I was to give me? Does the where, the who, the when, and now you don't need as much of why anymore. You hear these voices in the back being frantic, saying that that Nolan is in some kind of serious distress, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know they can make a call because their other friend is on the call. They fail to mention it. They fail to ask for medical, and then Nolan's not seen again, right? So maybe he was not doing well and you freaked out and you tipped him over. Maybe he went unconscious and you don't know CPR and you thought he was dead and he wasn't, or you thought he was dead and he was, and you did nothing to help him. You discarded the body. You tampered with evidence. Or maybe you gave him one too many drinks, so maybe he was drinking. Maybe he was taking drugs. Maybe you gave it to him and he had a bad reaction. And now you're freaking out because the drugs and alcohol he may have taken came from you. You know, we see a lot of fentanyl deaths in this country right now. A lot of people who are addicted to cocaine, and they take one bad hit of cocaine with fentanyl, and that's all it takes, right? Maybe you guys were partying, maybe not, but if alcohol and drugs are in play, that doesn't make Nolan responsible for his own death, right? Especially if someone else gave it to him and it was laced, inadvertently or not.
Yeah, because if you're going to consider, if you're going to try to make him out to be a bad guy because you say he was drinking or he may have been high, then uh, man, you're gonna have to arrest every damn body that was on that damn island, damn near, because that's what people do when when they're in a celebratory mode. People drink. Youngsters get high. Hell, old folks get high. I know some 77-year-olds that smoke a little something that time. I'm talking about, like they like that. They like a little sweet every now and then. So that should not constitute murder. So when they say that, let me, just from a legal standpoint, why bring something like that into the fold? Why?
Sure. So I think you're right. People are starting to bring up that he may have been using drugs and alcohol to place the blame on Nolan. I do think that's what's happening right now. You're seeing people go to, he was drinking, he was using drugs, and that in and of itself is why he is dead. I don't accept that. I don't like that push. I think it makes him a teenager. It makes him a college kid. That's what it makes him. Like you're saying, a lot of adults drink. A lot of adults smoke marijuana and do drugs. Marijuana is legal in most of the country now. So the fact that he did that makes him young. That makes him an American. I glean nothing nefarious from that. To the extent it contributed, the audio just went again. To the extent that it contributed to his own undoing, maybe, but that's not been established either.
Yeah.
And usually when people bring up drugs and alcohol were your fault, it's usually because drugs and alcohol were my fault.
Right.
And now they're shifting that blame.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's take a pause and switch from the criminal side to the civil side right quick, and let me bring on attorney Umeka Lewis. Umeka, where are you? Where are you? There she is. Hey, can you hear me? I think you have to unmute your mic. Your mic. But we having some major problems on the tech side.
Yes, hi.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, you're kind of blurry over there, but I see you there. But it's.
Let
me
me take the blur off. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that better?
Oh no, it's yeah.
How about now?
It's getting better. Yeah. It's getting better. Okay. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, so Bart Edmondson's first of all, welcome back to the show. Bart Edmondson's attorney is threatening to sue Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, and content creators. From a legal standpoint, how strong is that strategy?
Well, first,
sorry, this is
really
loud for me.
So first, I want to say hi.
Thank you for having me to
even
Absolutely.
listen to me. And if I can just have a moment to introduce myself, I'm UA Lewis, and I civil rights lawyer myself, like Ben Crump. I do it out of Houston, Harris County, Texas, but I do it all over the United States. And so I have a
special
take on this because of the fact that I feel like
they're trying
to stop and slow down
all
this activity that he's been involved with throughout the nation. I have special appreciation for him because he is bringing light to a lot of these cases that normally would not have light on them. So this, coming out of Mississippi, is I'm not surprised, expected.
I think they're saying I think you're saying.
Hear me?
I think I hear you, but it's like an echo. They're saying you're echoing.
Oh boy, okay, hang on.
Maybe make sure you close any tabs that might be open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that better, family? Let me know if that's better.
Is it?
Is this better, y'all? She sounds worse than dude. Let's see. Echo. Her sound is very bad.
Is this better?
Is this better?
Give me a thumbs up if it's better.
Yes.
Okay. Thumbs up. Okay. Good. Okay. And I see you clear. I see you clear also.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So
finish your point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not surprised that.
Okay, something's going on now. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay. We're
All
gonna
right.
get it.
All right.
We're gonna get there. Let's go.
Yeah, this is strange.
This is strange because we having problems
before, but
anyhow. So
still doing the
same thing, huh?
No, I think you're good now. It says still echoing trash. Is thumbs up if it's good? Thumbs up if it's good?
Yeah, I hear. Maybe
it's bad. They say it's worse.
Maybe reset the audio.
Echoing. They say you got to echo.
Okay.
How about now? Is it better?
Is it better now?
I can hear it's still bad. It's bad.
I hear that myself.
Do you have any like that's the tab open or something like that?
Let me close all the tabs.
Okay, step out and try to come back in.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Okay, fam. I'm gonna bring attorney Jack Palmeri back in to continue to help us navigate through the criminal side of this case. Like when you did you see the recent video, the recent photo that's out right now at the beach where you see about 3 or 4 boats, and you see all of these people out there, and somebody is saying that this is where the fight kind of originated. What do you think? Are those in your mind? Are all of those people potential witnesses, or is that just another picture?
Well, potential because we still don't know where he died.
I think we got trouble on your end again. You sound?
Any better?
If that sound better, y'all, let me know. This is crazy. Oh man. Uh, Give me a thumbs up if the sound is good. Thumbs up if the sound is good. You got an echo, they say. You got an echo.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, I'm
sure
not sure
why you kicked
why
back
you
here.
put that here.
Mm, okay. Well,
I can try
we're
to
I
gonna
can
muscle
try to
see.
through it.
muscle through it.
All right. Well, that sound is too bad. It's too bad. That sound it's terrible. So we can't. Let's try to go out and come back in. I'll try to get back to you, Umeka. Let's see if Umeka's sounding better now. Okay, Umeka.
All right,
Oh, I
I'm
can.
up. Let's go. I have a feeling since the other day we had no problems, it might be on your end if it's all. And I was listening to the other interview. I was like, he sounds horrible. This is horrible. So I can
Yeah.
imagine what everybody else is listening thinking. I don't know what you guys hear, but I don't hear any echo on my end.
Is Umeka sound better?
Do I sound any better?
It's an echo. It's an echo. I hear the echo.
It's still echoing. I don't hear that on my end at all.
But they say you're much better.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
I
I
hear
do hear a
echo.
difference. Yeah, I hear.
Echo.
Okay. Yeah, I hear a difference, and it does sound better from my end. I did hear the
They say
echo
it's good,
before.
so let's go.
Okay,
Let's
well,
rock
let's
with it.
go. Yes. So going back to what I was saying is I have a special appreciation for what he's doing, and I know people are very unappreciative of what he's doing throughout the nation. It's like it kind of reminds me of our local person, Dr. Matthews. A lot of people love what she's doing. A lot of people hate what she's doing, but she's shedding light on a lot of and bring a lot of attention to a lot of things that otherwise would not have attention. And some people don't like it. And so now that he's in Mississippi's home court doing these things, now they have a special mission, I think, almost to put this guy in his place for having the nerve to come to Mississippi with his shenanigans that he's been involved in all throughout the nation. Now he's in our hometown, so we're going to do something different. We're going to sue him in order to try to chill what he's doing and make him think twice about coming and messing with Mississippi. Remember, Mississippi is the home of the Confederate. Mississippi is the home of the Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president. So yeah, I mean, Mississippi has a point to prove.
But aren't they also trying to put the pressure on journalists and content creators to try to control the narrative? That's why they're not saying anything. I believe that's why law enforcement is mute. That's why the DA is mute. None of the officials in Mississippi are speaking on this. All that you hear is speaking is civil attorneys talking about suing people for talking about the case.
Yes, like I said, they're going to show everybody else how it's done in Mississippi. We're going to do it different. You guys allow this stuff to go on these other places. We're not having it here, and this is how you do it. You're going to shut down these content creators. We're going to threaten to sue them too. We're going to threaten to sue Ben Crump, which like I mentioned before, it's really nothing to sue him for at this point. But just the threat they feel is we just make the threat that might be enough to slow him down or make him think twice or do something different. But Ben Crump has legal knowledge. He's a very smart attorney. And that's despite whatever people might feel about his presentation, he is a smart attorney and he's surrounded by smart attorneys. This is not going to deter him at all, and it shouldn't. And so that when you're dealing with people like this that feel like they have to control the narrative, that goes back to their default position. They want to control us altogether.
What's the difference between a tough opinion and an actionable defamation?
So you can't make a defamatory statement and then hide behind and say, oh, and that's just my opinion. When the effect is the same. So for example, if I say, Willie D, he's out here defrauding all these people, and I don't have any type of information to support it. He's defrauding these folks. He's taking their money. He's doing this, that, or the other. And then I said, oh, in my opinion, that's not going to cover it. If it's going to affect you, it has to affect you. It has to be in harm. Like if you are in a business where me saying that you're defrauding somebody and it caused you to lose business, or it causes people to view you in a bad light, then that could be enough to show that there's harm here. And so with that would be the difference. You can't do things, kind of like just hide behind the fact that, in my opinion, or allegedly even.
If a public figure, or let's say an attorney, makes some comments on a particular case or whatever, how much protection do they have under the law?
It depends on where it's made. It depends on where it's made, because it can be made in a public setting, like at a press conference or something like that, or it can be made in a courtroom. In a courtroom, it's free reign. Whatever you say, you're protected from defamation lawsuits. But if you're in a press conference, then you do have to be careful, like you would in any other setting. Whether it's quietly and you just telling, one or two people at a dinner about a defamatory statement, or if you're saying it at a press conference, it's the same, as long as you're communicated to a third person who can cause you harm, or harm resulted as a result of this person saying this false statement about you. And it has to be a false statement, because the truth is always a defense to defamation, and defamation can be in two ways. So you can have defamation by writing, what you've typed and you put on social media. That is a form of defamation. It's called slander. I'm sorry. It's called libel. And then when you say it out loud, it's called slander. So there's two ways to defame somebody in that sense. So you can do it in writing, or you can do it orally. And those are the difference. So like there's are two different prongs or trees that come, branches that come from defamation. And if it's truthful, and it's a true statement, then that's always going to be a defense to defamation.
How hard is it to sue somebody and become successful with that lawsuit? If a person was to say, I think he killed him. I think he killed him. Now he's not saying I know he killed him. I think he killed him.
Right. And that's different. That's totally different.
Somebody for that.
So you're allowed to speculate. You are allowed to speculate. And
Boom.
as long as
stop right there. Boom on y'all asses. I'm speculating on y'all ass. Yeah.
Speculate. And then again, you got to go back to the harm.
Yeah, I knew I was going to get you. That's why I had to get these lawyers, some real lawyers on here. I had to get some real lawyers on here. Yeah, come on. Yeah, I'm speculating that Bart killed him.
Yeah, and the thing is, that boy, if he has a problem with it, he has to show that there was a harm that was a direct result from you saying, I think he killed him. So now he has to tie back, oh, I lost his contract because Willie D said he thinks I killed him. And, so that's a big deal. And that's a hard threshold to bring. And again, there is a defense that a person would have if there's a defamation lawsuit brought against them, and that is anti-SLAPP, anti-SLAPP statute. And the anti-SLAPP is basically just a countersuit almost, but it's a defense. And basically what it does is allows you to say, if you don't come with 100% on paper, and it is so arbitrary the way that it could be determined by the court. The courts don't have enough of a baseline to say what is, what meets the burden or not. Is really an odd defense. But anyhow, if you don't have enough on your pleadings on the actual lawsuit to support the defamation claim, and might have it all in your head, you might have all the evidence, but if you don't put it in the actual lawsuit, then the individual can file a motion to dismiss the case based on the defense of anti-SLAPP. And SLAPP is SLAPP, and that's a strategic lawsuit against public participation. And basically, it's a way to. It was designed to protect media, but it's been perverted. It's really been perverted to the point where, if I, for example, I had a young lady, and I practice criminal defense. I practice from small claim like justice of the peace all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I've practiced on every level, civil and criminal. And one of the things is that when you bring one of these lawsuits, I had a young lady who was accused of stealing from Target. And when she stole from Target, allegedly, the investigator determined it was her going and stealing these cell phones from the cell phone counter because he went on Facebook and found somebody from the surveillance camera on Facebook that looked like this young lady. And they issued a arrest warrant for this young lady. They went to her house and took her from her newborn baby that she just had 2 weeks before. And it wasn't her. It was not her. I can't hear. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I remember that case. I remember that. Yeah.
And so what they did was, what they were allowed to do was say, this is a matter of public concern. And so we're going to file this anti-SLAPP. It's again, it's very perverted. So as a result, they were protected. They were protected because they're saying, oh, this is a public concern. We had to report this to law enforcement. This woman went to jail, had to defend herself, had to hire a criminal defense attorney and beat these charges, and could not sue because of the anti-SLAPP defense. So it's kind of just grown out of control, to be honest with you. And so they always fall back on, you can talk about things of public concern. You can talk about things that that if you call law enforcement, that's a public concern. So that's automatically something that's protected. They claim it's constitutional. I'm a constitutional lawyer. That is, I don't believe it is. And so anyhow, so that, going back to, it can protect you as well. So the original design. So if somebody comes and says Billy D has defamed me, you can use that for your protection as well. The original intent, as being a part of media.
I damn sure am gonna use it, and I'm countersuing. I'm putting cases on all you mother. I'm a Denzel. Yeah, I'm putting cases. I ain't taking nothing. Ain't nobody rolling on me. Ain't nobody getting away with nothing. Yeah, see, they trying to see. They're so used to
you don't
bullying.
Even have to countersue. You don't even have to countersue when it comes to the anti-SLAPP. You just file that motion to dismiss. Well, what happens is you'll get all your attorney's fees back for even coming in and having to defend this case.
Oh yeah, because so I'm damn sure defending.
Attorneys defend you. They'll pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm damn sure defending. I'm coming for real. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Two can play that
it's very
game.
Hard. It's very hard to bring a defamation suit. I really don't even file them anymore now. The federal court is more protective of it. They don't have anti-SLAPP in federal court, but you can't just bring a lawsuit in federal court. For a state law, because it's a state law action, and it has to be removed there. It has to be taken to the federal court, and then if you as a defendant were foolish enough to remove it to federal court, then you've opened up that window of defamation that wasn't available as easy before. So you want to keep it in the state court more than anything. So yeah.
Now, how does this work? Again, for these lawyers who think they can just arbitrarily just sue anybody that has anything negative to say about their client. How does this work for public liability? Like, there are millions and millions and millions of people who are commenting on this case and speculating about who they think is guilty here and what charges should be brought against who. So how difficult would it be to, for them to look into the comments and say, hey, you can't say that. You can't say that. I'm going to sue you too. And you can't have that opinion. You can't say that. How difficult would it be to just go around suing everybody that's got an opinion on this?
It's very difficult. Again, you have that defense, but not only do you have that defense, there are also conditions that you have to meet before you actually bring a defamation lawsuit. For one, you have to ask the person. It's a very short statute of limitations. For one, it's one of the shortest that's available. It's like a 1 year statute of limitation. When your average, what we call torts, your average lawsuits that you bring are about, personal injury type cases. Those are about 2 years in Texas. In other states, a little longer. Other states, a little shorter. Louisiana is only 1 year. But in any event, and it's a shorter statute of limitations for the most part. And before, so that you gotta hurry up with it. And then when you're there, you have to prove that you met the condition to even bring the lawsuit, which means you went to that person, you asked them to retract that statement. That's why you'll see a lot of people will see in newspapers and everything, we have a retraction, and they're trying to fix misinformation. Because if you don't retract, if I'm going to file a defamation lawsuit against you, I have to say, Willie D, you need to retract this statement. Otherwise, I'm going to sue you. If I miss that step, then there's a problem, and you can't bring that lawsuit. When you're dealing with defamation per se, it's a little bit different, which means that on its face is defamation, but you still have to give a person the opportunity to retract that statement. And then if they don't retract that statement, then you've met the condition to bring the lawsuit. And so that's a big deal on getting to the court and being successful, because you can always say that they didn't give me that opportunity to retract, and I would have had they gave me that opportunity. So when they're going through social media and they're going through the comments saying, I'm going to sue you, they have to give that person an opportunity to retract the false statement that was made. And if the person doesn't say, no, I think it's the truth, and I'm going to stand by it, and it'll be shown to be the truth, then they're allowed to do that too.
Yeah. Now, how about this? Let's say it's a dude out there who used to be a police officer. He ain't no police officer anymore, but he plays one on the internet. Okay. Let's say this dude went and told a lawyer, say, man, Willie D over there talking about your client. You ought to sue him. Can I sue him? How successful would I be if I went after him to sue him? Is he defaming me at that moment? Or not he's not necessarily defaming me, but he's putting me in a position to whereas he's encouraging somebody to file a frivolous lawsuit against me. Can I get him? Because I get him. Let me know what I need to do. Can I get him?
So let me see. If that was, first of all, I wouldn't take that case. But if I were forced, if I was forced to take that case and bring that case, I would look at maybe a conspiracy claim, a conspiracy to abuse process. That you're using this process of they have such thing is called civil malicious prosecution. So if somebody brings a frivolous civil lawsuit, there is a such thing that you can kind of bring a claim in that realm, and maybe a conspiracy to abuse process might be a claim that would be available. And just say, both of this person that actually sued me and this person who encouraged them, they abused the process of this of bringing a lawsuit in order to chill my speech.
Yeah. Let's say if this case ends with arrest or a civil judgment, who, in your opinion, would be more liable?
As far as which actors here, you mean the person who ends up being convicted, or you?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Like if the case ended in a conviction, you got arrest, you got a conviction. Who can the parents, Nolan Wells' parents, go after?
Well, gosh, there's a lot. There's a lot to kind of flesh out with that, because obviously the person who committed the crime, you can go after, maybe depending on how the crime occurred and the level of crime. I don't know what we ultimately the conviction would be, whether it be murder, negligent, homicide, something like that. Because a lot of times, you'll see a negligent homicide case where somebody might have ran over somebody and killed them by accident in a car, and you can sue that person for that negligent act, and it might not be a high level crime, but you still have the availability to sue them for that negligent act as well. It's really so that would go into the boat owner. It could go into if they hit him with the boat. I don't know. Titan was. I don't know enough about the case to know all the details. From my understanding, as far as the autopsy is concerned, it came back where there was some bruising on the back of his head. From my understanding, I don't know how true that is, but if that came from them holding his head and drowning him or something like that, then you can sue these folks, but then you got to look at the money. Like, where's this money going to be coming from? What money do they have? You want to obviously always go for the best route to get you the only justice you can get in these situations. When you're suing, the only thing you're suing for is economic justice. That's it. You're not suing to have them to go to jail or anything like that. So that's what lawsuits are about. They're about economic justice. So you want to go to the place that can get you the best economic justice, which would be insurance that's covering this negligent boat action. Or if you have somebody that has a lot of money that's involved, because I understand these kids are from pretty decent to families, yeah, that have a lot of access, but that's their parents' money. It's not their money. And if they're minors, that's one thing. But if they're adult kids, if they're 18 as well, then you have a different story going on. So you want to get to the deep.
I say get them for future earnings. Any trust, trust fund, babies. We want that trust. We want the trust. We want the future earnings. We want your children's future earnings. Somebody got some. We want that boat. Want that boat.
You could do that, but the problem is these people are smart, so they'll know like how to circumvent that, like how to go around. Like let's not give them a trust because they have this lawsuit hanging over them. So it's not likely. When I sue law enforcement, when I sue police officers, a lot of times the entity may not come in and cover that officer, and they'll kind of leave them hanging on their own, and then we have to go after the officer individually and their assets individually. And thankfully in my cases, even though I've had that case, the county, Harris, whatever county I'm dealing with, Harris County a lot, and Houston Police Department a lot, the city of Houston, they'll cover for those individual officers, even though the city is out of it or the entity is out of the case. With that being said, I think that if you have a case where you're dealing with an individual officer, like in other states, I've seen it where the entity has not covered them. You get a judgment and you just go enforce that judgment. You have the constable go into their home and take every non-exempt piece of property as possible. I think that's a little satisfying, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Now we cook. Now we cook, because there needs to be some consequences. The reason why this country people in this country continues to exhibit the same old bad behavior from decades and decades and decades ago is because we keep rewarding bad behavior. So if you reward bad behavior, there's no incentive to change that bad behavior. So this is why you still have people moving the way that they move in Mississippi. Let me tell you Mississippians something, the ones that's getting mad. Y'all all mad because people are pointing at y'all and talking about racism. Y'all know damn well racism is pervasive in Mississippi. So all of that trying to tell us to not talk about it or whatever, you can put a sock in it, partner, because we're going to speak on it. You might be scared. Now, if you that scared, call the police. Oh, no, you can't, because the police your homeboy. So, yeah, We gonna speak on it. We gonna continue to speak on it because some people in Mississippi, believe it or not, want outsiders to speak on this. They can't voice it because they gotta live there and they gotta deal with these people. They gotta be around them. So I do understand that. But at the same time, understand that everybody ain't having it. Everybody ain't scared to speak out. And if you're that afraid to speak out, you need to get the hell up out of Mississippi. That's what I would do. Ain't no way possible I live in that uncivilized territory. Mississippi is uncivilized. I don't care what you say. You trying to talk about that Trayston boy said that they were a tight knit community, and he told Ben he warned Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, you don't know who you're messing with. That's what he said. You don't know who you're messing with. That's a
And
threat.
this was who the who's
That
Tristan?
was the Trayston. I think it's Trayston or
Tristan?
Tristan, something like that. The mixed kid who was on the Batum show.
Wow.
He had his hat turned backwards, and he had his hands folded the entire time, just mad, just mad. Him.
Magnifying his blackness for the interview so he can speak from the
Yeah,
black community aspect in this case, it sounds like.
that's what it
He,
was.
yeah.
That, that's that's what it was. But he wasn't fooling anybody, and he wasn't scaring anybody. Let me ask you this: if somebody knowingly spreads false information about Nolan Wells' family to try to ruin their reputation, can they be sued? Because it's a
It's the
lot of
same.
them.
It's the same. It's the same. You have to show the harm. Yes, anybody can sue. We know this. This is the old. Everybody knows this to be a fact that anybody can sue. Successful is a whole different story. And with this situation, yeah, definitely they can sue, but then they're facing the same defenses that can cause them to have to pay attorney's fees. So they have to make sure that they cross their T's and dot their I's as well.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
I wouldn't run to do that. But you know what? I think it's not said enough. And if I could add this, with
Sure.
Nolan Wells, Colin Kaepernick stepped in and he handled his business. I think he needs to be protected at all cost. He's being attacked for no reason from the black community, from anybody in the black community is outlandish, except for your officer guy, your alleged officer guy. I could see him wanting to attack Colin Kaepernick, but Colin Kaepernick has done so much for the civil rights community. I do these civil rights cases. I've had cases where Colin Kaepernick's foundation has come in and paid for an autopsy. And let me tell you what that does. The autopsy in my particular case is Michael Thompson. He was killed by El Paso Police Department in El Paso. Colin Kaepernick's foundation came in and paid for an independent autopsy. And what they did was they took the decedent, Michael Thompson's body, and they flew it to the medical examiner where he was located at. They performed the autopsy. I got that autopsy back before El Paso released their autopsy, same as in this case. And what it did for us was it allowed for the narrative to be set first. And the narrative that was set first with our autopsy was this was a homicide. So now the independent would have to explain how they came up with a different outcome because the stage has been set. The baseline is there. Exactly. This is a professional medical examiner who's gone to school like everybody else. And if you come up with something contrary to what he's come up with, there's a problem. You're going to have to explain yourself. And I saw it happen when the medical examiner came back in El Paso. They did conclude it was a homicide. These officers killed my client, his son. But not only on top of that, that medical examiner in El Paso had to press her, but she said that it was a homicide and it was affected by methamphetamines. And so I'm like, well, did they overdose him? What do you mean? If it's a homicide, it's a homicide. Why are you even putting methamphetamines anywhere in here because he had it in his system? But I was able to press her on that. And then when I pressed her, I said, are you saying that methamphetamine contributed to his death? In the story, she says, no, it was the police violence that did it. She didn't use those terms, but she said it was because of the police violence that did that. So that second autopsy put the pressure on her, because I feel like if it wasn't in that order, in that sequence of it coming out, that she may have attributed it all to the methamphetamines and then kind of left it there. And we wouldn't have had a second autopsy to contradict her. So in this case, I think it's great. In Texas, one of the things as far as the autopsies are concerned is it's public record. So with Nolan Wells' family not getting that public record, it's a problem. And to me, it doesn't matter the fact that there's a criminal investigation going on. In fact, in Texas, they just passed a law. Governor Abbott signed it, where parents can get their child's autopsy, even if it can't be released publicly. And that came from those children that died in Uvalde, because those parents didn't know when that shooting happened in Uvalde with all those little children there at that school. Those parents were in the dark. They did not know what happened to their children in the autopsy results. So after that, those parents went and legislated, and they got this law passed where if nobody else can get it, the parents can get the autopsies. And that should be the case here too, because it doesn't harm anything. You can get them to not release it to the public. You can get an agreement so they can just have some solace about what's going on. And these parents deserve that. And thank God they had that second autopsy, because it does help.
Yeah, I can't believe, John. I want to bring Jack Palmeri back in. I can't believe that John Abbott signed that in the
Greg
law.
Abbott, yeah.
I mean, Greg Abbott, because he is really anti-civilization, anti-civilized. Here we go, Jack. Jack, you good?
I'm good, my friend.
Jack, turn your mic up, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, what do you think about what Umeka was just saying about that the second autopsy? What I'm trying to say? How frequently do you get these multiple autopsies in questionable cases?
I get them as much as possible. If you're asking me, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're asking me or Jack, but I get them in every case.
You can answer also.
You go first while I try to get my mic going here.
Yeah, if there's a problem, I'm going to get it done. If it's something that's not evident, I'm going to get it done. Even when it's a police shooting case, I will get it done, because sometimes later they'll try to say that, oh, it wasn't, he had a heart attack. It wasn't the police shooting that actually, killed them. In fact, right now, Tony Underwood, who was killed by the Houston Police Department, he died about 90 days after the shooting. He was in the hospital, and it took that long. So now, we're going to have a problem with the fact that, he died that much longer. They're going to try to blame other reasons why he died outside of the actual shooting, even though he just never recovered. The bottom line is that. So that autopsy is very important in that case. But I get them done whenever possible.
Yeah. Jack, you
and again, shout out to Colin Kaepernick. He's making it happen. And he doesn't charge anything. There's no fee to the family in doing this. It's not just Nolan Wells. He's doing this all over the nation and has been doing it for years.
Yes. So salute to Colin Kaepernick. Jack, you were echoing a moment ago. Let's see if we cleared that up. I think we're good.
Good. How about now?
I think you're good. Y'all let me know give me a thumbs up if the sound is good. I think let's see, he's not fixing it. We know messing with we need more. Give me a thumbs up if the sound is good. Okay, we're good. Okay, go ahead, Jack.
I see the dual autopsies a lot in the cases where the cause of death is an issue, and it should be. It should be done. It comes up less often, or you don't hear about it publicly as much. So, but in these cases where we've seen a lot of these questionable drownings, that's where you see them. You don't see them where there's a shooting. And the cause of death is most likely the cartridges from the firearm. When the cases where it's not concrete, you'll see them a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to you, Jack, and we'll end it right here because you're still echoing real badly. So, uh, but thanks for coming on the show, and Umeka, stick around, please.
Yes.
Okay, Umeka, uh, I did not know that you were so involved in the the criminal side of things. Because how long have you been practicing? Just how long has it been since you stopped doing criminal?
I still do criminal. I
Oh,
do
I
criminal
thought you
defense.
only
Yeah,
did
I
civil.
just so yeah, I can get you. I started out doing simple cases, car accidents, personal injury, those type of cases, and simple misdemeanors. Well, actually, my very first case was a felony, 14 count felony insurance fraud, which I won that jury trial, and it just got my blood boiling on that. So I never stopped doing criminal defense at all. And shout out
And
to
shout out to
shout out
shout
to
out
my
to my co-counsel,
Valerie
Valerie,
for
for
trusting in me
trusting in
for that.
me for that.
I hear echo
I
now.
hear echo now.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
change the
Did you change
audio?
the audio?
I didn't. I didn't. I just.
Okay.
Okay.
I did not.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
I've been doing it. I have never stopped, especially when I'm dealing with people that have been subject to police violence or misconduct where they've been wrongfully arrested. I'll come in and defend those cases. If Because a lot of times when an officer is involved with some sort of misconduct, they beat you up. They'll turn around and charge you, the victim, of assault of a public servant. I have a case where that's dealing with Kedrick Crawford. If you look that up, they beat him horribly from Baytown Police. That is in it. They are, in my opinion, and I could be sued for this, who knows, KKK aligned, out of Baytown. And there's a strong history out of Baytown, Texas. It was a sundown town, and this young man was not even pulled over. He wasn't even, there was no reason for the contact, but they made contact and they beat the crap out of him and had the audacity to not only beat him so severely that his eyes were swollen, he was blinded when he went to the jail that he had never been to before and had to maneuver through the jail. He would beat so severely and he was in that jail because they charged him with assault of a public servant. And the actual probable cause statement said that he assaulted a public servant by scratching them with a fingernail. And I'll come in and I'll defend those cases. I'm going to fight, I'll fight for them, and I have special knowledge from both sides of it. So it's very helpful for me to come in and actually defend folks in those cases as well. And you get more information. I kind of like when they want to charge you on frivolous stuff like that, because it gives me access to information and evidence I wouldn't have otherwise, or have to wait. Like in Nolan Wells's case, let's say that he didn't die and he's on a ventilator or something somewhere. If I'm his criminal defense attorney, I get more access to everything. If they say, he was in a fight, he was in a fight, he charged them, he was in a fight. I'm sorry. He was in a fight, and he charged, and we're charging him for being in this fight. And it was for assaulting this person. He can't speak. So if I'm his criminal defense attorney, I get access to subpoenas. I have access to body cams. I have access to a lot of things that they can't stop me from under what's called, this case called Brady versus Maryland. You have to give the defense everything they could possibly have available to them that can exonerate them. So you get wider, broader access than a civil suit would allow for. And a civil suit will allow for a lot of things. And we do get to subpoena in the civil side, on the civil side as well. And that's where Ben Crump, in this case, is going to add some benefit, because if he actually files a lawsuit, once he does do that, then he can start issuing those subpoenas. He can start deposing people. He can start putting them under oath and asking them questions and things like that. Now, will they come back and say, oh, you have to stop that until the criminal investigation is done? And may they prolong the criminal investigation to make sure this never happens? Yes, that's very much the case. It happens so much in Harris County, Texas, with me and my clients. It's just a part of the playbook at this point. But so it's a benefit. on one hand, to be involved on the civil and the criminal side. And so I've never stopped. I've never stopped practicing those areas. I still do the small, car accident case. That's my easy stuff. But and I say easy, it's not easy on my clients, but for me, it doesn't take as lot is not, the amount of work at all as a civil rights case would do, would take. But and then we have, however I can help the public with my license, I'm going to do my best to do it. As long as I have the time and the energy to do it, I'm going to do it. That's what the reason why I got my license. I feel like, Andrew, I was called to do this. I don't think I'll ever retire, no matter how much money I get. I don't think I'll ever retire because I appreciate the opportunity that people give me to represent them, because it's important. I know our history, and I understand how people don't have access to attorneys and things like that. So it's an important part of my my calling, my ministry.
Well, we absolutely are grateful that it is, because you do a hell of a job, and we can hear it in your voice. I hear the passion, I see it in your face, and I read people really well. So we thank you for all that you do, and thank you for coming on and adding your insight to this Nolan Wells saga, and it's a very real thing. Yes. It's a very real thing. I want to just add that, yeah, I'm reporting on this and everybody's talking about this, but as we report on this and we talk about this, we give our commentary. Please be mindful. I'm talking to everybody right now. Please be mindful that a family is grieving right now as they're seeking justice. They're seeking justice and grieving at the same time. So at this moment, if you're not helping, you're hurting. So saying negative things about the family, or you don't agree that the family did this or that or whatever, that's not consistent with being supportive of the family. So if you're going to support the family, pick a side. And I know some of y'all riders, well, that's just how I talk, well, that's just what I think. And no, I mean, you got to really think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you're grieving and you're seeking justice, and somebody who claims to support you is critiquing you every step of the way? We can't do nothing about the uncivilized mutts. Now, the uncivilized mutts are going to uncivilize mutt. That's what they do. So, and the crazy part about that piece is that the uncivilized mutts claim to support Nolan Wells' friends, right? Nolan Wells' friends claim to support Nolan Wells and his parents. So if you support Nolan Wells' friends, going after his parents, disparaging his family, is and disparaging people who are trying to help his parents get justice, is contrary to support. So, but it underscores how uninformed and ignorant y'all really are. I'm talking to all of y'all, every last one of y'all, especially the ones that follow that fake police officer. I'm talking to all of y'all. I ain't scared of none of y'all. I ain't scared of your mammas, your pappas, your grandmammas, your grandpappas, none of y'all. I ain't scared of none of y'all. All right? Hate to pull you into all this junk, Umeka, but
I ain't scared either.
Sometimes you just gotta let them know. Sometimes you just gotta let them know.
That's right.
I
don't know what's wrong.
Something's probably wrong with me, but I have the spirit of fear in me at all. So when I've seen the FBI successfully,
I
never would have thought that
this would be my
calling, but he did. Probably because I don't have fear. I don't know. I don't understand. But
really,
I know I'm echoing again. So
I'm going to be quiet.
But I do want to add.
When you asked
me to come on, I told you I didn't really know a whole lot
about these
cases, about this the details.
I have my own
cases and work to do, but I did some research and I was able to find that there was other individuals that have been
the sound is really messed up.
Okay. Well, if I could just add, there's is better now, right? Well, anyways, Daniel Irving, out of Texas, his family is looking for answers as well on his death. Also, Gerard Jackson, he was killed at a music fest. His family is looking for answers as well. Juliana Zeta, she was killed. I believe she was in Michigan. She was killed as well as Kayla Huff. These people have families that are grieving, and nobody is looking into why Kayla Huff, for example, was found hanging in a tree. And these are the things that these are people that don't have the voice. They don't have the access. Nolan Wells family they have and he deserves all this, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can shed light on other individuals that are faced with this as well. So people in your chat, remember to hashtag these people. They're important too, and their family deserves answers as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable U.A. Umeka Lewis, attorney at law, the real deal. You did? Thanks for coming on. All right,
thanks.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I like, fam. I like riders. Like when I pick a lawyer to come on, or I just even when I'm doing business with lawyers, I like lawyers who are fearless. I don't deal with those lawyers who are afraid of the establishment. I like the lawyer I pick lawyers that's when one lawyer somebody coming at me or whatever, they say, oh yeah, woo, okay, they did it. Okay, now we about to do this to them. We're gonna do. I like those riders types. They gotta have uh, they got to have some of that fire. They got to have that fire in them, because not all lawyers are created equal. Some of these lawyers, they see a case and they get scared. They're like, "Ooh, I don't want to touch that." Because I think that they doubt their talent. There are lawyers out there. They went to law school. They got their degree and all of that stuff, but they doubt their talent. They don't think that they're that good. So looks like y'all saying I'm still echoing and stuff. So I'm gonna shut this down. And next time I come with the live, fam, we're gonna make sure that the sound is perfect, or as close to perfect as possible. But I appreciate y'all joining the live. Make sure you smash up those likes, hit those like button, and show some love for Shina Carter for moderating and keeping the uncivilized mutts at bay. You dig? Till next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.